Now I'm at the point you want to be with me. I'm vibing out at a higher frequency, cause everything that I want and I'm gonna be, it's when I wake up, that's when I start to dream. Someone you love is talking down, here is the plan. Let it fall through like a handful of sand. Nothing happens overnight, what you must understand. If you dwell on the bad, then you don't stand a chance. Something you want upset, saying why it ain't mine yet. That's because now you have yet to change your mindset. People don't put their mind to rest while they're so wired. A lot of people go to sleep and wake up tired. Power of positivity and persistence. Say that I can, we'll just sit back and witness. Make an impact when our time is done. Make money, help people, and have lots of fun.
Whoa. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Office Hours, episode 874 or so. We say or so because we really don't know. I know it's more than that, but we can't guarantee it. So 874 sounds good to me. I'm joined by an amazing co-host today, playing at the Double B, my mentor, moving possibilities and probability into reality. Blaine, welcome, my friend.
Hey, good to be here as always. I look forward to today's conversation. We got a pretty good lineup.
We always have a fantastic lineup when you're here. And speaking of fantastic lineups, he is the power. If you look behind him, Rhett Power, out of Africa himself, rhettpower.com. Thank you so much, my friend, for joining us.
I wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
It's amazing. I was amazed. Internet in Africa so much better here than in California or especially Whidbey Island. But we'll get right to it. As our friend has been waiting in the room, Aiko Bethea is here, straight out of Atlanta, founder, CEO at Rare Coaching and Consulting. And we're so proud of her. She has an upcoming book coming in 5 days, Anchored, Aligned, and Accountable. This is a framework for transcending bullshit and transforming our lives and our work. Welcome, Aiko, to Office Hours episode 874.
All right. Thanks for having me, David.
Been waiting in a pleasure. You know, frameworks are necessary today because things have evolved so quickly. You know, in the old coaching and consulting world, it was more about there's a million great ideas out there. How are you going to materialize your idea? That's not a problem anymore. Ideas can be materialized in moments. And so the consulting today that's necessary and the coaching today, the rare coaching, as you suggest today, lies upon those who have created a framework that allows you to execute. Prioritization and execution are far more important today than understanding the materialization of an idea. 0 to 1 can happen in 0.1 seconds, where it used to take the majority of the time because of our technology today. And within the context of all of that speed, we need to stay anchored, aligned, and accountable. I'm curious, you have built this framework to navigate what occurs when we accelerate 0 to 1. And I was curious how values and purpose are important within the context of your framework to execute today.
So, David, in terms of just that first part of the framework, anchored, it's talking about being anchored in your values. And when you know what your top 2 values, we always say 2 so that it's not diluted, what your top 2 values are and the behaviors that reflect those values, you can make decisions much more quickly. You can make hard decisions and feel good about the one that you made. You can get to it more efficiently. You also, it's clearer if I'm talking with Blaine and he knows what my top 2 values are, he automatically has insight to what my boundaries are as well. So it helps us to make decisions quicker, hard decisions, and feel good about the output versus being reactive. It helps people understand how to engage with us. It helps others to know how to motivate us and even what they do or say that may demoralize us. So it does help us to navigate in the world in a way that's quicker, as you said, 0 to 1. And it also helps us in terms of whatever that output is to be very intentional, understand why did I do this? So it helps us to be very clear about who we are, and it helps others to be clearer about who we are as well. And of course, it doesn't stop there. Once you're anchored into your values, you're also able to look at, am I aligned with who I want to be? Because it goes back again. Is it aligned with why I named these 2 values as being core to who I am? And then the last part about being accountable, which we know there's a dearth of in this world right now. People who are accountable are spaces that hold people accountable as well. I can look at the impact and I realize, hey, I made this decision based on these values, but the way that it impacted Rhett is not what I would have wanted. So now, regardless of what my intentions are or what I wanted, now I can own, yeah, this was my intention was, but that impact is not desirable. It's not aligned with my values. So it's like a check and balance. And it helps me now to circle back and hold my relationship with Rhett in the spirit that I would have intended, regardless of what I just wanted from my values. But hey, I wanted this impact on Rhett. I wanted to stay in relationship with him. I made this decision in a certain way, but it did not come out how I wanted to because of the way it impacted him. Now it gives me a chance to circle back, hold that relationship, to take ownership of what the output was, and to get back into the spirit of alignment with my values. A lot of times we know our values, right? And we make a decision and it flops. It's not what we wanted. That impact is not what we would have desired. We're still responsible for it, but we'll poo-poo it and say, you know what? But I made the best decision I could have, instead of me carrying the impact with me and circling back and being the person I want to be. And that's the hard part that many of us actually circumvent and not take ownership of.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, I'm crushed, by the way. I'm just crushed. I don't, that impact, I don't know what to say.
Well, and so Rhett, first of all, what you just did, part of us understanding impact anyway, it does rely on people being able to say, hey, Aiko, when you did that, this is what happened. And instead of me saying, well, Rhett, that's not what I meant, I would say, oh man, I would have never wanted that impact. So how do I make this right to get the right impact? But most people stop at, well, that's not what I intended. But if I am all about the impact and being aligned with who I want to be, I'm going to take ownership of that impact and figure out how to make it right instead of doubling down on what my intention was.
Yeah. You know, to that point, I think, Aiko, leadership is a high contact sport. I mean, it truly is, because we're always impacting, we can't not impact. Leadership causes movement, and movement will generate things bumping into each other.
That's right.
In the context of, there's a word that's used in software coding, elegance. Elegant code is code that does what it's supposed to do with minimal unintended consequences. And there's an old joke in organizational development circles, that says we went away, designed a perfect organization, and screwed it up when we put people in it. And the idea of people banging into each other often comes into play because a lot of leaders that I worked with are they're conflict averse. They would prefer that conflict not be present, and conflict is going to be something that is actually desirable if we are looking to actually effectively scale. The challenge from my perspective is, and this is where I think your framework comes into play pretty strongly. Conflict creates heat. Heat can clean things out. Appropriate conflict, the appropriate amount of heat, can generate light. So we see things we've never seen before. Mm-hmm. In your framework, what's the catalyst for effectively utilizing, not avoiding, but utilizing conflict in a manner that moves us forward rather than derailing us?
Such a good question. And you're right. We want conflict. And I talk about it a lot in terms of friction. Mm-hmm. I want that friction because when Rhett named, hey, that didn't land so well. Not only is it going to help me understand Rhett better, for me to get a better output in terms of what I would have wanted, but it's also going to help me to have greater awareness about myself. So there are all of these wins when there's some friction, because now I'm understanding, what am I bumping up against? What assumptions that I have already? And when people think about conflict, it often has this negative connotation. And it's mainly because we don't have the emotional agility or the threshold for vulnerability to work through it. And hopefully this framework helps people to build that level of stamina and recognize when Rhett tells me this is what actually happened and creates that friction, I see it as data. And data that I'm learning about my relationship with Rhett and how to work better with him, whatever process or what have you that I introduced, I now get more insight about it and how to do it differently. And I also get to check myself on some assumptions I might have had. It's a win.
But yet, nobody likes feedback in the present, regardless. Right?
and
Awesome.
and Rhett's,
All right,
Rhett's pretty impossible to work with. So but I'll move on.
I like that third person.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that, there's a lot of anyway. I always love hearing what the story behind the book is. Everybody's usually got a reason why they felt compelled to write a book, and I'd just love to know why this, why now.
Sure, Rhett. I was talking a little bit with Blaine earlier about the leadership space. And before, once upon a time, one of the models around being a great leader is looking at somebody, finding somebody you look up to, and almost like mimicking who they are. And something else that someone's doing, maybe I can try that. And what I do know for sure is that we have a dearth of leaders who really lean into accountability and the degree of self-reflection you need for growth. And this idea around the book is really about self-leadership. At the end of the day, you hold the bag for the impact you have and the decisions you made. No matter if I think that Blaine is the dopest and best leader out here and I try to mimic him, I still am accountable for whatever comes out of that. And we need to have, in terms of the decisions I make. So this book is the book that I needed when I was in my 20s, 30s, and 40s, and now in my 50s. And I think about it as this model that also helps most of my clients thinking about who do I want to be every day, and moment by moment build the skills of emotional agility, a degree of fortitude as well. And it's simple. It's not something where you're going to have to look up every word. I'm anchored into my values. The impact I have is aligned. When it's not, I'm going to hold myself accountable. And I'm going to perpetually be curious about who I want to be. Simple framework. Hard work around it, deceptively simple, I would say. So it's the book that I wanted. It wins the day every time when I'm with clients, regardless of the age group. And I wish that I had known these principles earlier. And I think it would have helped me in terms of making a lot of decisions that I set on because I didn't like conflict, or because I didn't want to push through, or I waited too long to make the decision because I didn't know about what my core north was. And so that's what compelled me to make the book. And I can only have so many clients, right? So it helps me to touch people in a lot of ways. I do think that clients end up being so much more fulfilled. It's really hard when you're coaching somebody who maybe already, their 60s or 70s, and they get these awareness about who do they want to be? What are their values and their core north? They can't redo. So they're left with a lot of regrets because you can't go back and change that. And they think, gosh, if I had known this, I would have had more fortitude to do X, Y, and Z. But I thought the way to lead was because of X, Y, and Z, because I read this in a MIT or HBR article. And I thought this is what I was supposed to do. But there's not a formula. The formula is different for each person in terms of who you aspire to be.
And our upcoming book, Anchored, Aligned, and Accountable, coming out in 5 days. Hold it up there, beautiful cover. You can learn how to transcend the bullshit and create less conflict, less interference, to be a great leader, an adaptable leader. Dare to lead, as our friend Aiko Bethea has. Reach out to her, rarecoaching.net. Thank you so much, Aiko. We look forward to having you back.
Okay, thanks so much for having me.
You got it. Thank you. Excellent. I am a big fan of frameworks these days. And we have another amazing woman in the green room. I just left Phoenix for a couple of days, CEO of Colossal. She's a colossal leader herself. Mary Hagan, welcome to SARS episode 874.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Well, we are blessed to have you, and we should be recruiting you. Colossal is in the business of supporting charity, and so are Blaine, myself, and Rhett, who's in Africa, but he's back now. So we all know the challenges of supporting a charity, and to have someone, a professional, help us has such extraordinary value. And for someone who has scaled this business in philanthropic efforts, how are you addressing the biggest challenges today of fundraising for charities?
Oh my gosh, where do you start, right? I think, when we founded the company, one of our founding principles was just that it is so dang hard to give money away. It's hard, right? Regulatory bodies make it hard to do good in the world, and with good reason. There's unfortunately some bad actors out in the space, but one of the things we really set out to do was turn the tide, be a good actor in the space, be very transparent, kind of lead the charge in that respect. And so some of the things that we're doing are cutting through the red tape on behalf of our charity partners. A lot of the charities that we work with are not nationally registered. They don't have the funds to become nationally registered. They don't have the time to get registered in every jurisdiction. And so what we do as a for-profit business is we get registered as a fundraiser in every jurisdiction. And we have basically an intermediary partner. DT Care is who they are right now. They're also nationally registered as a 501c3 charity partner to us and a grant maker. And so the way that we've been able to circumvent the issues of being able to give money to any charity anywhere in the country is by collecting all of that revenue through DT Care from all of our campaigns, and DT Care granting the funds to smaller charities who might not have the resources to be registered across the entire country. So that's one thing that we've done really, really well. We're able to help a lot of people by doing that. And I think the other thing that we've done in a unique way is bring a lot of people together through our online campaigns for charities that might not have the resources to get the reach that we're able to get, right? And so it's in essence, what we do is a version of crowdfunding, but with a little bit more impact, because the people who participate in our campaigns are with us for a pretty serious duration of time, about 20 weeks in total. And so we're able to spread the message for our charity partners to an audience who cares about them and maybe keep them engaged for years to come.
Lane, sound good to you?
Yeah, it certainly does. Both David and I are on the board of a couple of different foundations, and fundraising has always been a bit of a challenge. There's no question about that. How does Colossal differentiate the charity partners that you're working with so that there's actually a branding opportunity embedded in the fundraising process?
That's a great question, Blaine. We get creative with this. Oh, number one, we're vetting our charities to make sure that they have the biggest impact possible with the dollars raised through our platform. And so one of the ways we do that is by partnering the charity with a campaign that just makes sense for them. So as an example, one of my personal favorite campaigns we run is America's Favorite Pet. It's for cats and dogs. Hundreds of thousands of people participate, and the campaign raises money for paws. So the branding opportunity there is that I've got hundreds of thousands of pet owners, people who love animals already, supporting a cause that just makes sense for them. And that's sort of how we pair every campaign. Favorite Chef raises money for James Beard Foundation. Fab Over 40 raises money for National Breast Cancer Foundation. So we're trying to get these charities in front of an audience that will have some sort of natural tie to their cause.
Good.
So smart. Rhett, what are you thinking out there now? So many folks.
I mean, you are a serial entrepreneur.
Guilty as charged.
Guilty as charged, yes. What is the challenge? I mean, I know raising money is a challenge right now, but for you, what do you see as one of the biggest challenges that your organizations that you work with, what are they facing? What are the biggest, aside from fundraising, but what are some of the biggest challenges they're facing?
What I'm hearing across the board is that micro giving is down. It's across the board, right? There's a little less money out in the economy. People have a little less money in their pockets. The world is an interesting place. And so I think people are more likely to hold on to their dollars right now. And since I think this has been in effect since COVID, and so I think that people are a little less likely to give back, not because they don't want to do good in the world, but because they're scared, right? And holding on to their own cash. And so I think what we've been able to do in a world where perks are really necessary, right? Everybody wants the perks, the free gift that comes with the t-shirt that you buy it. So we live in a world of perks, gamification, et cetera. And so what Colossal does to sort of defend against that decrease of micro giving is add perks to the campaign, right? So when you give through a Colossal campaign, you're not just giving your money to a charity, you're giving your money to a charity and also helping your friend maybe win this life-changing prize and also participating in this fun, entertaining campaign. And so you're getting perks when you give back. Not that I think that you should need perks to give back, but I think the world needs that. So we just give a little extra back to the consumer as they're trying to do a little bit of good in the world.
Cool.
To have a colossal impact on the world, you need a colossal partner to do so. Colossal.org. Check out our friend Mary Hagan pouring into the communities around the world, and has been doing it for over 5 years with global impact. Mary, thank you so much. Hope to see you next time I'm in Phoenix, and have you back on our other shows as well. Continue the great work.
Thank you. Please stop by.
We will.
Thank you, Mary.
Also.org. All right. Well, we're 3 for 3 on Extraordinary Women today, which always makes me happy because the co-hosts of this show are 3 middle-aged white mutant turtles, and we need to be elevated by the higher genetics, which are Wonder Women. From Malta, I have our dear friend. She is an entrepreneur, and you wouldn't believe what else she is, but my friend Ty Emery, welcome back to Office Hours.
G'day, thanks for having me on, guys.
Good day, girl. All right, so when people meet you, they're not thinking this is a badass bare knuckle fighting champion, power slapper, misfit boxer, and electrical engineer. I'm just not seeing it when I look at you. And so I think what's so beautiful about you is that you can't judge a book by her cover. And I think one of the biggest lessons today is that there's a difference between discernment and judgment. And we really should be utilizing our discernment in a greater way, not be so judgmental. I am sure that people have misjudged you for a long time. And so how have you helped people to elevate their own enlightenment, their own awareness to being discerned when they meet people and not just talk? And the only reason I'm asking is my notes say I can ask you anything. You're cool with it.
Of course. Look, one of the first days I went on site, I've just gotten my electrical apprenticeship. And I remember people, being like, their minds not being able to comprehend that there's a female in front of them about to do this job. I've had doors slammed in my face, followed by laughter just because people really couldn't understand that I'm like, hey, g'day, I'm here to fix, So I think the biggest thing for that is action. I think the fact that I'm one of the hardest workers in the room, people cannot unsee hard work. People cannot unsee passion, and they definitely can't unfeel passion coming from someone either. So when I met with a lot of this, what I've found is just to keep the horse blinders on and to keep going forward and just to smash it and be one of the best in the room, because people will always end up pulling out a chair for you rather than closing the door in your face when they see stuff like that.
Yeah, I love that, Ty. Just a question here about some of the work you do. One of the things that you actually work towards is authentic expression. Is that a fair assessment?
That's pretty bloody fair. Yeah, that's right.
Pretty bloody fair. Good. So I'd be interested in how you define the term authenticity. And part of the reason I ask this is I lead a program for the American Association for Physician Leadership called Leadership Authenticity. And the front end of that program, we will always go round and around about what is authenticity. So how are you defining it?
I think you can't really say that I'm defining it. I would say it's just by being yourself and being in an environment where you can be your true self. And hey, I'm having different conversations when I'm sitting in front of you guys, because this is what's reflecting and kind of beaming off. And then, when I'm in a room full of 7-year-olds in little gis doing jiu-jitsu, I also have a different sort of thing to live up to and authenticity in that moment to live up to. I'm definitely not going to approach a crowd where you guys are the best of the best entrepreneurs. You're here to help the world. I'm definitely not going to take that same authenticity in a room full of 7-year-olds who are going crazy, bouncing off the walls. So I think by just being able to have that one breath within yourself and recognizing where you are, and also for yourself in any moment, we can learn from genuine conversations. So I think by having any sort of approach where, you know, you can learn something from someone, and that's even to say when I am like learning for bare knuckle or a boxing fight, maybe a 7-year-old in that moment can also teach me something. So I think just by being authentic, it's just by being able to take a pause, not only seeing what I can give to this situation, conversation, or meeting, but also kind of like locking in by seeing what I could potentially get out of this environment in a genuine way as well.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Why is always like only beautiful person here? Go ahead, Rhett.
Hey, Ty, it's good to see you again. How you doing? Doing good? So I wanted to ask you, like, I'll tell you this. I do not want to be slapped. I saw a video of you the other day doing that, and that was frightening. But anyway, what is next for you? Like, what is the next big challenge in your life?
I think the next big challenge for me, I was going to be doing, it's like an army-based thing. I don't think I'm allowed to say who the host is or what the show is going to be. But the purpose of the show was to be able to show discipline, hard work, and just showing different ways of being able to, I guess, conquer a mission, so to say, and whether you're losing within yourself and not. And I feel like it's a jump onto TV platform, which I think as an athlete is the next best thing. I think being able to be a recognized face within the home and being also put on specific obstacles that can actually show people where mindset and discipline and a strong mindset can truly change your life. So I think for me that's where the next step is. I'm also pretty lucky right now. I'm at the top of the game. I'm fighting in, like you said, 3 of the best promotions. The fighter and entertainment side right now in fighting is super evolving. It's very hard to see where things are going right now with Jake Paul bringing in Netflix. Like, we have a million different platforms coming for fighters, and I think the time now for the entrepreneurial fighters who are thinking outside of the box, and right now is the time to establish a presence in as many platforms and as many communities as possible. So I don't know if there's ever like this next best step for me. I think it's always, my fighter side is always waiting for the next challenge and staying ready. And then on the outside of that, it's also being able to adapt and just see what comes. And I'm pretty lucky. I'm the type of person where amazing things are always coming. But yes, I think for me, the next step is, can anyone hear me? The next step for me is, TV and seminars. I think that's the best way to get towards as many people as possible.
We would love to assist you in that, and we are blessed to have you on our shows. And she could tell you, Rhett, what she was actually doing, but she'd have to kill you. So we don't want that to happen. Let's go ahead and welcome back anytime Ty Emery. Check her out. She's world famous in so many aptitudes at Ty_Emery. Thank you. It's always a pleasure. I'm going to see you more. Thank you, Ty.
Oh, that's crazy.
All righty. All right, Gigi. Thank you. Okay, guys, it's time for takeaway of the day.
I think what I'm going to land on here is just the beauty of diversity. And I mean that in the sense, I mean, we've got three completely different, women on the show today, but each one of them came from a very diverse perspective, very diverse point of view. And being able to celebrate, that diversity, I think adds richness to everything that I'm experiencing today. I mean, I'm looking at this as kind of the start of the day in one sense. And so there's a freshness about how I can look through the lens of accountability and alignment and just being able to say, hey, there's something that I can anchor here. And then with the work that we do with the foundations, David, kind of there's a freshness in the perspective about diverse ways of looking at fundraising. And then certainly with Ty, I marveled, how does a double E, electrical engineer actually end up being a Muay Thai fighter, and with the success that she's got and being able to leverage both of those from a diverse perspective. So I just love the nature of diversity in this regard.
Yeah, I love the triple. I mean, the word for the day, or the three letters for the day for me, are anchored, aligned, and accountable. And every single one of those guests kind of lives that. Right? They live with that ethos, and they live with that. I think that's probably a little along the lines of what you were saying, Blaine. I mean, it is, and that it strikes me is that's the key to success, right? If you live in an anchored and an aligned and an accountable way, you can do anything. And I mean, these three people demonstrate that. I mean, I think that's sort of my takeaway. It's actually really good food for thought.
I love it. Aiko on day. My takeaway for the day is a different way strategy, and it's alignment, action, and adjustment. And if you look at the three women that we had, alignment is crucial to what they do and included and expanded upon as they suggest, but the action that they take, they're not sitting around high on their mom's couch dreaming about what they want to do. They're going out to do it. But the fascinating thing in the takeaway is as they adhere to this strategy, alignment, action, they're constantly preparing for adjustment and creating frameworks to transcend the bullshit, incentives for people to give money, and God knows how many different adaptabilities our friend Ty Emery has as an electrical contractor, professional Muay Thai fighter, missionary worker in South Africa, entrepreneur. She has a hunting business. The list would go on and on. Her adaptability and the preparation to adapt. Utilize the AAA strategy, alignment, action, and adjustment. If you'd like that, I'd be happy to send it to you at themeltzer.com. But first, let's all say thank you to the two best co-hosts in the business. Office Hours is proud to have Blaine Bartlett, BlaineBartlett.com, my mentor, and my dear friend and business partner, Rhett Power, RhettPower.com, straight out of Africa. Thank you for taking your valuable time and participating in Office Hours episode 874 or so. Thanks again. These guys are awesome. All right, a very diverse show and utilizing all types of frameworks to success. That's what we hear, as Blaine would say, with the soul of business. We're going to be in New York City next. Then we will be in Las Vegas. All of them include speeches, holding courts, interviews, and meetups, as well as VIP dinners, charitable dinners, and then back to New York, the Bahamas, 200 cities. I want to thank everybody in the last 10 cities in 14 days, including Augusta, Georgia. If you want to be informed and invited, seems like a lot of people tell me, oh, I didn't know about it. Well, join our text community. The area code's 949. The first three numbers is 98. The last four numbers is 2905. 949-298-2905. It's right on the bottom of the screen. And if you want to join us, be invited and informed, and don't like text, then email me for anything. My books, my guides, my exercise. Let me know you bought Don't Do Business with David. I'll send the rest of my books. You don't got to prove it to me. David at dmeltzer.com. David means beloved. D is my first initial. Meltzer means servant. Let me be your beloved servant. David at dmeltzer.com. Most importantly, everyone, as you come to all our shows, please remember to be more interested than interesting. Be kind to your future self, and do good deeds. Hit it.
Now I'm at the point you wanna be with me. I'm vibing out at a higher frequency, cause everything that I want and I'm gonna be, it's when I wake up, that's when I start to dream. Someone you love is talking down, here is the plan. Let it fall through like a handful of sand. Nothing happens overnight, what you must understand. If you dwell on the bad, then you don't stand a chance. Something you want upset, saying why it ain't mine yet. That's because now you have yet to change your mindset. People don't put their mind to rest while they're so wired. A lot of people go to sleep and wake up tired. Power of positivity and persistence. Say that I can, we'll just sit back and witness. Make an impact when our time is done. Make money, help people, and have lots of fun.